Okay, and starting from the plain, Fort Putnam apparently is up the road turn up near the Catholic Chapel, up past Michie Stadium, and we're going to make our way over to Fort Putnam. Okay, here is the Catholic Chapel. It's being fixed, renovated. Take a left here, an Arvin gem. Cadet Chapel. Great view of Michie Stadium. Beautiful day. Okay, first day Fort Putnam is open. Looks like this is what we're seeing up here. To walk around. I think the cadets get up here by running up through trails through the woods. Fortunately, the road does lead up here to the back of Fort Putnam. Get this nice walkway to get inside. Okay, it is Memorial Day. Good reason. The flag is at half-staff. This is I guess probably the northern side, maybe the western side of Fort Putnam. Entrance. Okay, so Fort Putnam is pretty old. These casements were built in 1794. Okay, Fort Putnam was built in 1778. It was a key part of the Revolutionary War. Hopefully you can read some of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to head back in past the area where the casements are and go up to see the ramparts. Okay, from this view you can see back down towards Trophy Point. See the flag flying stiffly in the breeze. The plane. Across the Hudson River. I think that's a statue to Kosciuszko. Okay, Sherborne's Redoubt, 1778. Colonel Sherborne's regiment built this redoubt near the present-day Trophy Point to cover the back approach to Fort Arnold. Fort Arnold was renamed Fort Clinton following Benedict Arnold's treason. Oh, very interesting. Okay, here is casements are actually a fortified area where officers, I guess prisoners, are kept that can withstand artillery bombardment. Naturally, this is how we would reply to any artillery that was hard this way. Okay, so Fort Putnam was designed to protect other fortifications at West Point from overland attack, not to fire on enemy ships sailing up the Hudson River. Thus, it was a key fortification in West Point's defense zone. Okay, so these cannons apparently all replicas of the 12 to 18 pound muzzle loading cannons that were used at the fort 1780. Okay, here we have cannon up here. Gentleman who was a fireman up here at West Point. I guess his wife. Okay, now along the wall with some of these big cannons, very difficult fort to scale the walls of. Obviously, here's the famous Cadet Chapel, looking down on the baseball field. Column Hall, Thayer Hall. You can see why this is the key fortification. Look over here, we've got a great view into Michie Stadium, down up the south down the Hudson River over to the famous reservoir, and then of course down towards the Cadet Chapel, the new library, the baseball parking fields and Trophy Point. I imagine the days have passed, all of these trees were cleared. You could really get a great view all time of the year. All times of the year. Okay, some sort of large kind of pit here. Not clear what this is for. Maybe it's like a magazine to keep explosives. Okay, I think I'm just about at the highest point on Fort Putnam. What a beautiful day. Terrific view. There's the casement. The casement runs all along here. We have what essentially, I guess, is the equivalent of mortars. And the view back south. Okay. Okay, now on this side of the fort, you'll see why this is actually not all that well armed with cannons. It's because there's a huge wall on both sides, very difficult to climb. View out to Michie Stadium once again. See how steep this is. Probably the equivalent of about it's like maybe a 8 to 10 story building. Okay, so in 1779, General Washington did order the fortifications on this side of the fort Okay, so this is the western side of the fort. You can see that the high wall continues over here. I guess this would probably be where you would position a gun. Okay. Now I just heard what sounds like cannon fire, and I think that may be happening at Fort Montgomery, further south of here. Maybe on the way out I'll take a look at that. Okay, once again, beautiful view down towards the plain. You can just barely make out some of the Go Army Beat Navy. It's really meant to be ground level view to see the words. Fort Putnam cannons once again. Flag. Oh, the flag's been raised. I thought it was flying at half staff before. Okay, so archaeologists found some original fortifications right in this area where this one gun is. I guess all the flags are flying at full staff. Should know better. Okay, looking off of the very northern point of the fort. Okay, this section of the fort was built in 1778 and 1779 to protect the Constitution Island batteries. Now, Constitution Island is connected now by, I guess, a roadway and a rail line. But this is Constitution Island right here. And this is where the famous chain was hung across from the area, I guess, just north of Trophy Point over to Constitution Island, right as the turn occurred. Well, maybe it's actually over here somewhere, but I think it was with Constitution Island. And the British never tried, or never able to break through that fortification. Okay, we'll take in a couple more of these plaques. It'll be time to go. Okay, so these are replicas of the short-range muzzle-loading mortars. Okay, down there Trophy Point is actually where Fort Arnold was. It was renamed. You see the topography lines. Constitution Island is the famous chain barriers, fortifications. guess the last thing we'll see is this wooden house. I imagine that this is probably the officer's place and where any sort of planning would occur. But we'll see. This plaque is found on a rock leading up to the house. This plaque is sitting right on the side of the house, right as you walk up the steps. This is very interesting. It's a relief map of West Point and the Hudson Highlands in 1776. Naturally, we've been focusing on the area right in here, but you can see down here, I guess, is Bear Mountain, and quite a difficult terrain to get through, certainly with a large troop of soldiers and cannons and horses and carts. Okay, here are some more of the famous British generals. The Americans were up against. I'm sure you can read that. Here, of course, is one of the more infamous ones. HMS Vulture, British warship. Oh, this is Thaddeus Kosciuszko, has a famous bridge named after him down in New York City. He was a big helper of the Revolutionary Army. And that is his statue that is down nearby Trophy Point, the one that stands closest towards the river. Now this is Fort Clinton, what was originally named Fort Arnold. And this makes up the primary location for main campus at West Point today. There's a famous letter written by George Washington about the importance of this location. this. Kosciuszko. I don't know if we can read this. Really bad in the lighting. Brigadier General James Clinton. General Israel Putnam. So this fort is named after him. Hopefully you can read some of this. He's an American hero. The Colonel Putnam. Brigadier General Clinton. And here are links from the famous chain. You can see how they're square and not rounded like they would be today. That would be the shape of old links made years ago. As an engineer, you know that that creates tensile strains on the edges, which are unacceptable, but it did its job. The light is bad here. Oh, it had a triple row of chains. Holy cow, I didn't realize that. There's a triple row. This is actually one chain, but it's a double. And there's another chain behind it. Very good. Okay. Here are the colonies, the 13 colonies in 1780. This is the landmass it took up in North America, which wasn't very much in proportion to where we are today. Okay, we're going to go back outside, make our way home.